शहर की रात और मैं नाशादो नाकारा फिरूं, जगमगाती जागती सड़कों पे आवारा फिरूं। गैर की बस्ती है कब तक दर बदर मारा फिरूं। ऐ गमे दिल क्या करूं, ऐ वहशते दिल क्या करूं। झिलमिलाते कुमकुमों की राह में जंजीर सी, रात के हाथों में दिन की मोहिनी तस्वीर सी, मेरे सीने पर मगर चलती हुई शमशीर सी। ऐ गमे दिल क्या करूं, ऐ वहशते दिल क्या करूं. So that was Majaz Lakhnavi's couplet. Uh, we normally do this in the beginning of the show. It's a ceremonious recitation of one couplet of great poets of India. So with that, I would like to uh, good evening and welcome to Shitalath Conversations, Sunday evening, 7 p.m. IST show. Uh, you are witnessing our 101st historic conversation. I hope you are all doing very well this Sunday, and I am once again delighted to have you all, the august circle of people, august circle of viewers across the globe, witnessing your one of the favorite shows, Sheetalnath Conversations. Uh, I'm filled with gratitude, and it's a matter of great joy that we are again together, witnessing our 101st show. So this is a landmark show. We are going to proceed further. Having said that, we are in the midst of this, spring, and spring is something which delights me, like everyone else. Spring is a beautiful season, in the clock of the year, and spring has its colors. It is, it is the organic thing which happens. Life comes to life. Life comes to life. There's everything around seems to be fresh and living, you know, brimmed with fragrance, impregnate with fragrance and aroma and joy and delight, sunshine, and this the air, the interplay, the breeze, they interplay with each other. They caress our mind and broaden our intellect and our subtle bodies. They nourish our soul and the heart. That is something great about the spring. And spring, lot many people, lot many poets across the globe have talked great stories about spring. They have written poetries about spring, be it the Wordsworth, be in the far east. In India we have this, many people, many Kashmiri poets have also written about the spring. Spring is something, we can just feel. If you go and look at the sky now, now is evening time, maybe few hours before that, you could see this azure sky. And on this canvas, when the flocks of birds move, and the birds come from all over again to greet this spring. In a way, everybody is in the joy. The verdure green, the colorful, these flowers around, the buds, violet, green, yellow. Everything seems to be in harmony with nature. Everything seems to be one. We have that Advaita principle, a non-dualistic principle. Everything is one. Everything is joy. Everything is love. That's ecstasy. So that's how spring is. I would like to just recite one few lines from Christina Rossetti about spring. There's no time like spring. Life is alive in everything. Before new nestlings sing, before cleft swallows speed their journey back along the trackless track, God guides their wing. He spreads their table that they nothing lack. Before the daisy grows a common flower, before the sun has power to scorch the world up in its noontide hour. So that's how the spring is. Today is also a very great day for Shidanath Conversations. At on 11th of this month, we'll be just completing our 3 years. Our first show, first conversation had happened with my friend, my brother, Dr. Agnishekharji, 3 years ago, and it was April 11th of the April. We talked about the premise of Sheetalnath. We had initial shows were on the Sheetalnath premise and premise of the Sheetalnath. And over these years, I mean, we have meandered and crisscrossed through the many bays, and tried to bring back those great stories. I mean, nestled in different time spaces, lying dormant in deep slumber. So we try to brought these back with wonderful, lucid, and a very easy and a very effective way of presentations. by our conversationalists, the guest conversationalists, who are the people of the great, great capacities, great wisdoms, great intellects, great integrity and honesty. So there is something great about that. Is something very great about it. And we have many a times, you must have heard about that novel with the Roots. Roots is a great novel by that Saga of American Family by Alex Haley. Alex Haley's novel. I'd written it much before, but I've forgotten almost its context. But I remember the essence. The roots are very important part of our existence. Our biological, mental, physical, all the clock bodies within us, they all work very effectively if we are connected to our roots. The dilemma in the places and the races where they delink with the roots, the dilemma starts beginning. So that's why it's very important to connect to our roots, irrespective of whatever our religion is. We must connect to our ancient roots. And in a place like Kashmir, which is the brightest spot of India, the crown of India, time immemorially, and which has contributed so much for this country, and which has been a seat of learning, a seat of music, seat of culture, time immemorially. And we have produced great saints, great spiritual scientists, great people in aesthetics, in music, in dramaturgy, in translations, and people. I think it was like more like that American site, what you call it, where people go and they come and they used to meditate and they used to create. So stories are unnumbered. We are filled with these stories all around. But then again, we know that Kashmir has always been a great saga. We have to invent our heroes, and we have n number of heroes in our history, in our legacy of thousands of years. So these certainly a lull of some foreign rulers, sultans came in for some centuries, and then we had the Mughals, and then we had the these Afghanis. So they tried to torment everything, but I think the credit goes to the Dogra rule. They brought back the great travelers from the West. They came and they researched our. I mean, it included many people like Moorcraft, like Young Husband, like Orelstein, Bernier. All the people, they came and they worked during Maharaja Pratap. They were the institution builders. So they created again the link between the past and the present. So that is something wonderful. It has happened, and people from here have gone. They have traveled very far places, to Rhodesia, to Russia, to East Europe, to Caspian Sea, and spread the wisdom, ancient wisdom. And these wisdoms have traveled like undercurrents to the many civilizations, and with the another envelopes, they have come back. So, having said that, I would like to say that today is a great day. That we are almost celebrating our 3 years, and we have crossed a century, and we have the first episode of another century. So we have been talking about art, culture, languages, literature, musicology, archaeology, architecture, travelers, treatise, travelogues, chronicles. All these things we have genuinely tried to touch into our this, but it's an ongoing journey. I mean, a lot of treasures are still lying there. So it's an endless journey and an endless saga, and the show must go on. So today I want again go back to the previous century. We are going to talk about one of the great personality of the previous century, Pt.Janki Nath Kaul'Kamal. We are going to touch about his life and times. The towering spiritual seeker and scholar of monistic Kashmiri Shaivism, Vedanta philosophies, and Shakt Parampara mysticism. He was a very distinctive translator, annotator, and a very profound commentator on the ancient scriptures, precious ancient scriptures, oriental scriptures, predominantly from Kashmir and other parts of the India. Pandit Janki Nath Kaul'Kamal was a reputed teacher, a very well respected teacher, an educationist, a celebrated author whose quest to reach the essence of existential truth, the wonder of existence, the mystery of existence, brought him into the close vicinity of the great masters like Swami Saint Scholar, Swami Neelkant, and then Swami Lakshmanju. And he was deeply and greatly influenced from the childhood by the personalities like Swami Ram Tirth, Swami Vivekananda, by their vision, by their philosophy, by their teachings. So these all things made the great constituents of his developing personality. His truths with the ancient holy scriptures became the core instrument in exploration of his own higher self, and his extraordinary genius to explore this treasure trove of ancient wisdoms through the enlightened, prolific literary scholarships, and elevated discourses, enlightening discourses. His precious literature, which has been written into Hindi, translations, which are translations literature predominantly in Hindi, but he was a man who had a great command on the languages of Hindi, English, Sanskrit, and Kashmiri. And he, due to this command of language, due to this precision, due to this expertise, he has been able to translate these great ancient texts, great ancient literature, great ancient wisdoms, because it's very easy to translate the contemporary books, but it's very difficult to task. I was just listening to Batina Sharda. She said that it's literally very difficult to translate such difficult texts from the past of Kashmir Shaivism, Kashmir Shaiva Darshan, Bhavani Sahasranam, and other spiritual scriptures of the country of the Orient. He has been awarded, rewarded. He was a very well-known personality, and he was recognized by the giants of literati, giants of these literary masters across the country, and he has been awarded, rewarded, felicitated, and honored by the wide forums, respectable forums in the country for his distinguished work into the Hindi literature. And he has been honored by the President of India at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the year 1997. He was a great poet, a poet of very higher awakening, whose metaphors and allegory was certainly transcendental. And his poetries, due to his poetries, right from the first book of poetry and the second book of poetry, and the Vikshipta Veena, I was just going through this biography. So I found that he has written wonderful poetries, and because of those poetries, he was also given an honorarium across the country, and he was respected and revered. His students from all the generations always stand up and hold him in a very great esteem. So his contributions is immense. He's a man of many virtues, and certainly we are going to talk about him today. Today we are very fortunate that we have with us his esteemed daughter, his proud daughter, Advaitavadini. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it well. So it's all a very Sanskrit word, Advaitavadini, Dr. Advaitavadini Kaul. Dr. Advaitavadini Kaul is an independent scholar on Kashmir. Her field of study is cultural heritage, intellectual traditions, and historiography of Kashmir. She's an expert into the interdisciplinary traditions and the study of interdisciplinary traditions of India. And she has traveled many prestigious places in India and across with her papers. She has read the papers over there, and those papers have already been published in the in very reputed magazines and reputed journals of India. Her book, especially the Buddhist savants of Kashmir and their contribution abroad, has been taken very well by the readers across. So she is a multidimensional personality, and certainly her greatest virtue right now we'll be talking about her aspect, her co-relationship with her father, her memories of her father, and what she knew about the father. It's a scholar talking about her scholar father, the legendary institution, Pt.Janki Nath Kaul'Kamal. So let us, with great reverence and affection, let us invite to the studio. Let's welcome to the studio Advaitavadini Kaul with great reverence and honor. Advaitavadini ji, pranam, namaskar. You are welcome into the 101st show of Sheetalnath Conversations. It's a great delight and pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this very important conversation, and you are doing a very significant work to archive our traditions in different streams of Kashmir, otherwise which we may be losing connection with. So I appreciate what you are doing, and I find myself very fortunate for you invited me in this session, and also for this is my good luck, my some good karma that I am going to speak about my revered father, Pt.Janki Nath Kaul'Kamal.
Thank you very much, Advaitavadini ji, Dr. Advaitavadini ji. It's a great honor again.
I pronounce my name as Advaitavadini, not
Advaitavadini.
Advaitavadini.
Advait is the right pronunciation. I know.
Yes, Advaitavadini.
Non-dualistic. That is a non-dualistic word to use. So, Advaitavadini ji, once again, I'm very delightful to have you in our studio to talk about this great legend of Kashmir. Before we, just go around and talk about this personality, unravel and decipher his life and times through a wise daughter. So I would like to, first of all, as per the paradigm and structure of this program, this conversation, we take conversationalists to his or her childhood in Kashmir. So let's talk about your childhood first. How did you witness Kashmir, its waterways, its traditions, the life, institutions, inspirations, customs, festivals, and all aspects of life, bustle of life in Kashmir, since you lived in Kashmir?
There is so much to say about Kashmir, our birthplace, where we spent so much of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, in the light of my father, but you want to know from me about my impressions about Kashmir. Okay, so Kashmir, we have fond memories of Kashmir, our childhood. First of all, I would say the Yarbal, the riverside at the Vitasta. It was our tradition that my father used to worship Thokur Dar at puja room in the morning, and the Nirmal, the water which was used for Abhishek and other things, rituals. So it was to be immersed in the Vitasta. So it was at one point of time, before me, it was my brothers and sisters, their duty. But when I was the youngest among my brothers and sisters, so it was my and my just elder sister. We used to go together to Vitasta and Yarbal and immerse that water in the and it was in the evening. It was kept there in the puja room, and when we used to come from school and we go together, and it was just a joy. And at the riverside, I have seen, but although it was a very brief time, but I have seen that how it was bustling with people coming and staying there at the riverside. It used to be clean, and people used to go for taking bath also there. But with the passage of time, this all vanished away, and they were
Gradually.
unheard of those riversides. And when my impressions, I compare it with because in my job at IGNCA, I had the opportunity of visiting Varanasi many times. So my ritual, every time I used to visit Varanasi, or even now, whenever I go there, I sit for 1 hour at the Asi Ghat, because my work was around that space. So I used to sit there, and for the first time when I went there, and my hotel was just at the bank of Sighat. So I sat at the riverside, and it was bustling with so many activities. In the morning, also in the evening. So I was thinking it would have been the same in Kashmir. So whenever I go there, I find something, some solace in me while sitting there and remembering my Kashmir.
It invokes your memories of Kashmir.
Yes.
That ghat invoked your memories of Kashmir.
Yes. So and festivals. In festivals, I remember because I relate this time with my father. Our most of the important festivals, two festivals which I can relate with my father was Shivratri and the Janmashtami. On the occasion of Shivratri, it was the 15 days, fortnights affair,
Celebration.
celebration with different activities. So we used to do several days where there are rituals. In the evenings, there were puja before the Shivratri. But on the Shivratri day, my father, he used to wear turban, do puja with that. But we were not so. We find it, oh, see, this is such a long ritual. But I find the importance of that puja now.
Oh,
It may have been boring at times for us, but I remember he used to do this puja with all reverence. Involving, he used to tell my mother that we should be done with the cooking and we should all sit together, and at the puja time there should be no disturbance. So we used to sit all near Thokurkut and do the puja. And one of the important, what as a child I was looking to, was when he used to apply tilak to all of us, all members. It was done while reciting Panchastavi. He used to
fantastic.
recite it himself, and we had books, and he used to ask us to join with him. Then, as a game to create interest in us, he used to tell us that you should see which shloka will come for you, and you should understand its meaning and relate it with yourself. So once I
That's
remember,
wonderful.
I my when it was my turn, so Tom Chetanasi Pavane Pavane Balam Tom, that shloka came Panchasavi. So whenever I recite that, I always remember that moment. And after that, it was celebration, and we would never sleep before 3 or 4 o'clock. It was, and I practice the same thing in my family. We start, otherwise many families, they do their puja during the day, but this is the night affair. We have to do it in during the night. So I have imbibed it from him, and also from you can see Pandit Krishnaju Razdan in his
Christian Judaism.
he say it is very, and in our scriptures it is Shivratri, there is something going on in the nature that we have to catch that moment. Maybe we get some blessings from that. So it is very important that we should do in this Leela Krishnaju Radha, he says, even you gamble. Maybe it is because of that. During Shivratri in Kashmir, people used to gamble also. So he
Yes,
says
yes.
you may play with toys or do whatever you want to do, but be awake. So this was about Shivratri. And
You
then,
were you studied in which school, ma'am? What was your school? Where were schooling done? Where were your college and university
yeah,
days?
my
Tell us something
schooling
about
was
that.
done in actually almost all my brothers and sisters. We studied in DAV school,
Oh,
Magaramal Bagh. My
I see.
father was teacher there, and we all studied there. But during my time, the co-education was only up to fifth primary. So after fifth primary, I had to change my school, and I had decided myself which school I have to go in. So it was Devaki Arya Putri Pathshala, which was a branch of DAV only. It was in Gogjibag. So I requested my father that because my eldest, just who was just elder to me, she 2 years elder to me. She was also studying in DAV school, and she was sent to Kashappa school, which was
Rishappa.
near our school, our home. But I never wanted to. I wanted to go to Arya Putri Pathshala because all my friends, and also I found at that time, I don't know what I thought, it is the same as DAV, so I must go there. And my father was happy, and my sister was also, she also joined me in that school.
How was the atmosphere? How was the atmosphere there? I mean, Arya Samaj as a name is synonymous with the Arya Paddhati or something like that.
Yes,
It
we
brings
used
back
to
to our
do
imagination.
Havan, Yajna, and we remember all those bhajans, mantras, Vedic mantras. And I came to know later on when I joined IGNC, Dr. Kaul'Kamal, it was her mother who had started that school in Kashmir, Devki Arya
Oh,
Putri Pathshala.
that's so wonderful.
Yes.
So wonderful.
And Professor Kailash Mehraji, she was 1 year senior to me there in that school. So we were in the same school. After my schooling, I joined Maulana Azad Road
Women's College.
Women's College.
And Mahmooda ji was your principal? Who was your principal at your time?
Mahmooda ji, the same year she retired. I have seen her just for few months or days. And she was such a tremendous administrator. And yes,
inspiring personality.
I had a feel of her, how she managed in the college. After that, there was another lady who came, but that was no comparison to Miss Mahmooda.
Okay.
And after my graduation, I had, because our atmosphere at home was like my father, he was very much interested in scriptures, and he used to on Sundays or on holidays, his friends used to come to home and they would recite and discourse, and we were just listeners. But I found it interesting. I thought I must proceed in Sanskrit. But in Kashmir University, there was no Sanskrit department. But I had found solution for it. My eldest brother, he was professor in Chandigarh, Punjab University. Okay. So I told my father that I want to go for masters in Sanskrit. And I want to study Indian philosophy. He laughed at me. So, oh, you are going to study philosophy? Oh, it is not so easy. But I said I wish to do this, and so I did my MA from there. And
in Kashmir, you lived in a place. Your residence was a great place.
Residence was that place was known as Drabiyar. It is placed between Purshiyar is on the one side and Karfali Mohalla on the other side. And this Tikku family, Satish Tikkuji, who was killed by the terrorists. That family was across the lane, and their home was very important culturally and for this spiritual thing. That is Tikkus. They were Tikkus, and they used to celebrate Tiksoram, which comes day before Basant Panchami. And it was the winter in Kashmir at that time, and they used to perform Havan, and almost whole Srinagar city would go and pay their obeisances there. So we were across the lane, we would also go. There was one in their house, there was one I don't know, was it Nag or some water body was there. People used to go there also. It was considered very pious place. But unfortunately, everything went tipsy-topsy.
Everything went. Yeah, in your childhood, you must have been to the places like Tulamula, or you must have traveled on the boats in the Jhelum. Yes. Tell us some impressions about those times and these days.
Tulamula, my father, he was more spiritually into studies or doing meditation, and he was not very particular. It's not it was prohibited to go. He would enjoy, but not. And I remember we used to go to Tulamula, and he used to say, there were so many sadhakas coming from different places. You may also remember, whenever we used to go to Tulamula, there were some
Ashtamis, especially
people
on
coming
Ashtamis.
from different
Ashtamis.
places, from south, from north, east or west. They
Yes,
used to
yes, true.
meditate there. And my father, he said that this is a very spiritually energized place, so we must we can get some vibes from by sitting there, or just by sitting there or meditating. So yes, we used to go there, Tulumala also. Then we have gone there. Our cousins, they performed a havan there, and first it was planned to go in the Dunga, but there was
Hmm.
then some problem, so we went in buses.
Oh, that's so
uh,
wonderful.
but I have attended some picnics in Dunga's houseboats.
Hmm.
And what to say, my engagement was done in Dunga itself.
अरे, that's so wonderful. Tell us something about it. डूंगा में कैसे कैसे होता था engagement? I don't know. I mean, really, we want to know about it.
Engagement means, yeah, I was invited by my would-be in-laws. So they had invited their guests. We were
Okay.
almost maybe 50 people in the Dunga. So we started in the morning. Then we stayed at Roplang, and we had but while floating, we had our lunch, we had breakfast, we had tea, and we were singing, enjoying. And
I've
i
heard was
was
great stories
I was
about the
given
Doonga.
gifts there. I wore sari, because there were compartments in that, how, as you know, in the houseboat. So it was
It
a
was a
very
great excursion,
great day, great day, and it
experience.
was a unique way of doing.
Doing such things. Yeah, I
Yes,
mean that's a wonderful thing I know about. And Kashmir was beautiful in those days. Water bodies were not contaminated. Villages were virgin, green. Moors were
but
good.
they were getting contaminated. I have seen that happening.
Contamination was happening in your
Yes,
times.
yes, yes, yes. Because when I was very young, I remember when we used to go to Ranavari, the both sides, it was green with that Mongol, and it was such a beautiful view. But at the same time, it was dangerous also, because it was just, there was no railing or anything. I remember in Tonga, my mother used to get scared. Oh, it should not go in the water. Tonga should not go in the water.
Tanga was a great ride in those
It was a
Kashmir.
great
Tanga was
ride.
a great
Yes,
ride, huh?
yes,
And there was a waiting Tanga as well. People used to book a Tanga for a day, something
yes. It
like that.
was a yes.
Wonderful things. The entire civilization
And
seems to
slowly,
be a
slowly, those Tongas also vanished.
for what
Yes.
they change into the
Then we had
buses or
those
something like that.
three wheelers and matadors. That
Any
was horrible. Matadors were
com-
horrible.
camaraderie about your friends during your college times in Kashmir, going to the places, the picnics, camaraderie, association with
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
the bonhomie and every all these
Our
things.
school was in Gaukji Bagh, DAV school. When I was in DAV school, so I used to go with my father in bicycle.
Oh,
Sometimes he used to have some meetings, so I was playing and waiting for him, and then his meetings were over, because I was too young. When I grew up, then I used to go with because it was we were going walking. I was too young, so it was not advisable for me. I could
must have
not.
been a
So
toddler,
my
yeah.
father. Then when I joined Devaki Aryaputri, so there were so many girls who were going to the same school. So we were almost five, six girls. We used to go to each other's place to call and go in the group. In one way, it was safe also, and
Hmm.
we used to enjoy during the because it would take 40 45 minutes to reach our school, so it was a
And you had
joyous.
no great malls in those times. Only places which were rejoiceful were Santaram shop and Kumar Sweets and Shakti Sweets. People
Yes,
used to
yes.
go.
Then After that, we had Pavan Sweets in our vicinity at Habakadal, Shalakadal. And then Kumar Sweets was
Kumar
Karan
Sweets
Nagar.
was at Karan Nagar, yeah, that
Karan
near
Nagar.
National.
That was also not very far from our place. But there was no comparison for Santram and this.
Santram was very popular.
Santram was very good, and yeah.
His chole
And
and something used to be, yeah.
the who run the shop, they had been students of my father. Almost
Oh,
all in Hari
yeah,
Singh High Street, all business people, they knew my father, and they had remained his students, and many of them we know even today.
generations.
Yes.
So that's so wonderful. You're knowing, talking about Kashmir, going to the Dal, the Boulevard, the Nishat, and
And
Mir Bhavani, and the villages and other
and
places. Yeah.
a very important festival was Swami Lakshmanji's birthday. So we
Oh,
were looking for that. My
Ishwar.
father was a regularly visiting on Sundays, and also besides Sundays, also if Swamiji would call his few disciples, so they used to go on those days also. But Sunday was the regular affair, and this I have seen his birthday. When I was very young, it used to be in the old ashram, in his hall. So he would, but the thing was always he used to sit in the samadhi, and he had given instructions to his disciples at what time he should enter the room, and then the worship would start. But I have seen it growing as a big festival. People used to crowd there, and then Swamiji used to sit under the tree in the open.
Under that Chinar
Yes,
tree.
Tree,
Chinar.
yes, where that Amreshwar Bhairav temple is now. So he
Yeah.
used to sit there in Samadhi, and people used to come, and that 1 or 2 hours, it was just bliss. He was just God incarnate, slowly opening his eyes, full with flower garlands. And there are pictures, but
Yeah.
pictures
I've
cannot
seen.
give you that feel when you are seeing with your open eyes. That was,
I
I
once I have
can't
been to
get
that
that
place.
blessing.
I was very young.
Yes,
I was
yes,
very young. I remember I, I was a teenage boy. It must be ending of 70s, and I went there. I want to write an article, and I remember that was there was a wooden ladder, na, to the
yes,
first floor, wooden ladder, and there
yes.
was an old lady,
It is still there.
still the old lady sitting out there. He was in that particular canopy, I mean, near the tree
Yes, in the garden.
in the garden.
Yes,
Beautiful. And I
yes.
went upstairs, and I asked them for the literature. They gave me the literature, but he got a bit irritated. I don't know. I was a childlike person, very young, 16, 17,
Maybe.
and then he came suddenly, very tall personality. I mean, 6 feeter, and with Ferran, white Ferran, and Khadao, and that image, I mean, still it
Yes,
haunts me.
yes.
He came and he took away those scriptures from me, and then I don't know, I mean, then he called back, and the ladies called me back. They thought that he's a small kid and he wants to write. I have a great impression about that particular meeting
Yes.
with Swamiji in a huff as a child, but I've heard stories about his preachings. And we had many discourses on Kashmir Shaivism in Shitanath conversations. I brought many people. Bettina Sharda was also to come. Dostoevsky was also to come. Dostoevsky is slightly, because he's very wide in his knowledge. It's very
Mm,
difficult to
mm,
contain it at a
mm.
program. But
Yes.
Bettina Sharda has also paid a great
You
tribute
should
to
call her
her father,
sometime.
Janki
Mm.
Nath
Yes.
Kaul'Kamal साहब के बारे में तो everybody has spoken so wonderful. I heard that he was a very immaculately dressed, neat and clean dressed, and a very cultured personality for the public. How was he as a father? How did you look? A father is, of course, is a very respectable entity in a home, but how do you look
Was
towards him
he was
as a
very
father?
practical person, and what he taught or what he studied, he was living. I think he was living that. I realize it now because I was not so mature at that time, but whatever we have imbibed, it is because of him only. Otherwise, how could we? So he used to say whenever there was were some difficulty, so he said we should not get disturbed. We should think of positive things, and you will see how much strength you will get. So never lose your hope or your strength. Only face the situation, because this world is like that. But you have to, like in Shaivism, you say this whole world is Shiva. So we have to seek Shiva in every aspect. It may be positivity or even negativity. There may be something positive behind it. So we have to seek that. So that was his teaching.
And he was
Normally when it was after this exodus from Kashmir, so everyone had to face difficulties. We were not used to such heat, and he used to tell my
environment.
mother, "Oh, why are you getting so disturbed by this heat? You think as if some water body is some koi jarna beh raha hai, Poon Shuvasan, Jarna Shuvasan. You think you will get that
Bring
Shitalta,
back that.
you will get that cool this thing." So his thinking was like
I
that.
just
And
wanted to ask
after all,
one
it is
thing.
the mind, so you can adjust your mind in any situation.
Yeah, that's true. It's the application of mind and usage of mind. Mind,
Yes,
despite of mind reigning you, you have to rein the mind.
yes.
So I really wanted to know this aspect. Let's go into an invo-tendo fashion. Let's begin with this migration. Such a great saintly personality, a literary, wizard who created most difficult texts and translated them it into English, and then created the commentaries, which are very unique historically. I mean, it has been spoken by the great experts. But when migration happened in 89-90, uh, did what effects did it had on his personality as a daughter? What did you see? What did you witness?
First, I should say that he was a teacher, school teacher, and he had to look after his large family. We were seven.
Hmm.
We were four sisters and three brothers. And he, after teaching, he used to do tuitions, and tuitions also, fortunately, he used to get very respectable families, especially girls. People
Oh,
found him very good, so they found it safe to that he should be under his care. Their
okay.
daughter should be under his care. So there are many such her students whom we know and who revere him as their teacher. So, but his bent of mind towards spirituality, it was right from the beginning. His in
He was
his
a seeker.
actually in his childhood, he lost his parents very early. I think
Okay.
he was four at the age of 4. He lost his mother,
Hmm.
and after that, maybe after a few years, his father. But
Hmm.
he had father had married again. So Mataji, I have spent a lot of time with her, and he was very. They had a very good relationship. But maybe at some time he had when he had got to know about his uncle took care of him, but maybe at some point of time here he must have got to know that he has no his real parents. They
Okay.
were sister and brother. His sister was some 1 or 2 years younger to him. So one day he called her sister and told her, "Sashay pata uschhi yatim." And on
Right.
that he has written a poem.
Do you
"Aa
know
behen
we are
dil."
orphans? You can translate in English. Do you know we are
Yes, we are
orphans?
orphans. And he wrote a poem after at that point of time. "Aa behen dil khol role." It That poem is in the book. So because as humans we feel such things, because it was such a shock for him. भूल कर सुख साज सारे दुख के होकर के दुलारे खिन्न मानव के हृदय का
Yeah.
आज हम कुछ वेद खोले आ बहन दिल खोल रोले जो हुआ होकर हुआ है नियति को किसने छुआ है कौन किसके साथ आया कौन किसके साथ होले आ बहन दिल खोल रोले. बैठ संवेदन कुटी में, दिन गुजारेंगे छुट्टी में, कसक कंथा को पहन अब, वासना भंडार तोले, आ बहन दिल खोल रोले. So this was
beautiful,
and
beautiful.
During that time he has written many Hindi poems.
This poem, in a way, in its essence, is very near to the shloks of the Gita.
Yes.
There are some, so in a way, it gives you, in abstract way, it conveys to you all these, penuries or the bad things which you happens in your life. This is a passing phase, and nothing is to
At
be
the
lost.
same time, you try to face it and see the reality
And
of
move
life.
ahead, move on.
Yes. So this was it. And at that time he has written many, but with that he was maturing in his spirituality.
Personality
So
wisdom.
yes, and he must have been getting associated with people who were of the same inclination. So it was Sri Nilkantha Joshi, who was in our neighborhood. He used to go there. Somehow he had got connected with him. So he had studied Vedanta with him and Bhagavad Gita. And other scriptures also. At the this is about his when he was 18, 19, 20. During
It is the same saint to which he went, the Rishikesh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
we'll come to that. Yeah.
Nilkanthaji was his first guru.
Saraswati.
And then he decided to go to Haridwar, Rishikesh. And to join Shivananda Ashram. My father, he must have, through him, he must have got introduced to Shivananda, Swami Ramatirtha. Because at that time, he has written a poem. I will come to that later.
No, please.
It was Nilkanthaji who took him to Swami Lakshmanju. Okay. I think it was 1934 or 35. So at that time, it was not the same place, Ishubar, where it is Swamiji's ashram. It was above there. There was some kutia, which was made by his father. When he had left his home, he went to Sadhamalun. Then his father called him. He said, I will give you a separate home for your sadhana. It was there somewhere. So
on the hillock.
Yes, on the hillock. And Nilkanthaji took him to and handed over him to. And there is an incident of, it is written, I have read it somewhere, when Swamiji, Nilkanthaji introduced him to Swamiji, and Swamiji asked him to compose nahi, apna kuch suna do. I want to listen something from you, what you have composed. And he recited the lines, मैं क्या ये देखता हूँ, मेरा ही नूर मैं हूँ, आंखें जिधर भी देखें बस एक मैं ही मैं हूँ. So this is, I think this is the influence of Ramatirtha's poetry. So it is a long poem, and it is such a beautiful poem.
Not only the influences, it must have also the part of his realization and understanding.
Realization and getting connected with
metaphysics and esoteric knowledge. And
so he says that I was all wet with sweat when I recited it, but Swamiji was very happy when he heard these lines from me. So, and his tutelage started from that day. And Nilkanthaji went to Rishikesh. After some years, he took sannyasa. Then he came to know Swami Nilkanthanand Saraswati.
Tell us something about his association, his going to this Rishikesh and being near the Gangaji and with this master, the saint scholar, Swami Nilkantha Shastriji.
I am a witness to that.
Yeah, can you tell us some anecdotes? We really are interested in that. People want to know.
Yeah. Actually, it was, I think it was 1964. I was 5-6 years old girl. So his sister's daughter was getting engaged at Jammu. They lived at Jammu. It was winter time, I think January. So we started in bus from Jammu, from Srinagar. but we got stuck at Kazikund.
Okay.
Kazikund we reached by before 10 in the morning because people used to have breakfast there. So we stayed there up to 4 o'clock because the road was blocked. We were not allowed to move further. We had our lunch there. I know this army, they provided us water, some pickles, and we had like a picnic outside in that garden, and we were spending time. And I remember, as I was at that age, but I still remember how engaging my father was when we were now on a drive towards Jammu. It was night, so we were nearing. He said, "Oh, we will reach in at about 4 o'clock to Jammu, and the temple bells will be ringing." Like, it was such an imagination. And Benji, my boa, she must be preparing for going to temple, and we will reach there at that time. So it was
What an imagery.
such a imagination, beautiful imagination, and keeping you engaged. And we did reach at about 5 o'clock, and it was like that. Then we again got the engagement function, everything happened. We got stuck again there because it was winter time, roads were blocked, and we at the on during that year we could not come back home to celebrate Shivratri. My eldest sister was there, and she was the in charge of the Shivratri, so it was done by them. And we with the my father, he met some friends there. They decided to go to Haridwar. They thought we have to wait for some days, let us go to spend time and go for pilgrimage. So we went to Haridwar. I still remember in those days we had to go to Pathankot for taking the train, and
Yeah,
the
train was from Pathan.
train seats were wooden train seats,
Okay.
and it was very crowded. We reached Haridwar, and from there we went to Rishikesh. And during those days, there was that Shastriji's that on Mondays we have to have only one meal.
Yes, because of
It
that
was practiced
scarcity
there.
of scarcity of
Yes,
food. Yeah.
yes. So we had to go there and have a single meal that day. And we went to Shwananda Ashram, and there were classes going. We went to Swami Nilkanthanandaji's Kutia,
Saraswati ji.
Hanuman Kutir, it is known as. Some years ago, I went to Rishikesh, and I went to that
Yeah,
Kutia
your
also.
obeisance.
Obeisance. So we went there, and he received us and showed us all around, and then asked us to join at the Sandhya, because there is some Sandhya Puja, and we should come there. We went there, everything went on. I don't remember now because I was so young what happened, but I remember then he in the when the puja happened, he asked me to, can you do something here? So I thought in my mind, what can I do? We are at Ganga, but about Ganga I have nothing to say, but I have learned one action song, Sakhi More Jamuna ke Par Milna. I can do that
Yeah.
action song. I thought in my mind, what should I
You
say
prepared yourself.
at that age? So I myself get wonder now how I thought that. So, and he was so happy, he encouraged me. Then he brought me in his kutia, my parents and me, and he gifted me those patka, that sannyasi's patka. He gave me bag, pencils and pens, and he showed such an affection to
Affection.
this little girl, and blessings. It was a blessing for me. Yeah.
And your
So
father, you must have heard the stories from your father because you were too young at that time to recollect what was actually happening to your father's mind, what was troubling in your father's mind in terms of this esoteric journey. His times with his Swamiji at Rishikesh. Did your father tell any anecdote which you are acquainted with?
I don't remember it that, but about spirituality, directly to me, what he has. He told, I don't know how old I was, but he told me, you close your eyes and you see, you try to listen. There is some sound going on, and you should connect with that sound. That is the sound of Om.
Existential sound. Yeah.
But he, as stories, I can't say, but yes, he used to. When I remember one day, his Shraddha Posh is his collection of Kashmiri
Raposh
poems.
is his first collection of
Yeah, I
poetry.
think one day, he opened it and he recited, because he had his own tunes for reciting his.
Oh,
Yeah, he had some rhythm for every, so he recited all those as if he was just passing on something. But normally in our home it was a practice given by him, that at Sandhya time we should all sit together for just half and 15 minutes or for half an hour and do some prayers. So at that time we used to recite from his Shraddha Posh and from other Paramanand's Leelas, Krishna Ju's Leelas and other
Christian
Leelas.
Jews.
Yes. So it was a daily ritual. And also, I remember when my grandmother, she passed away in 87. And all our, my buas and everyone came. And it was such a blissful days those were, that every evening my father used to give a discourse on Bhagavad Gita. Normally people call some priest and he gives you the stories from Garuda Purana by which you get scared. But it was such a blissful moment that every evening for all those 10 days, he gave discourses from Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita was always enlightening. It's an enlightening
Yes,
thing.
yes,
Garuda Purana was always scary. I mean, they read
yeah.
the text of scary text.
Hmm.
Very rightly you said.
Yeah,
But
so he
your father. Yeah, please continue.
and all our, and such gatherings were very important. So you could not feel that loss. It was, you get, when everybody was around, you would talk and express your your feelings. And and not only that, many clarifications were done. When you are sitting discussing things in a relationship, there are some misconceptions, those also get cleared during those
Probably
sittings.
your sister or his elder sister. Somebody was talking. I saw it on this video that she said that he used to tell me that take a particular assignment, write it down. I'll correct it wherever you are wrong. Yeah. Who's that? Who's that
That
person?
was that was my eldest sister Indumati.
Indumati. Okay. She's your
When Swamiji used to go to my father used to go to Swamiji, and he used to teach some scripture. During those days he had started to teach Mukundamala. Is
Mukundamala.
a, yes, it is a verse about Sri Krishna. It is Rajashekhar's Mukundamala. Very beautiful, very
Enlightened.
melodious
Melody.
verses. So he asked my sister that she should also come there and join those discourses. Then he encouraged her that she should write whatever Swamiji say, how he is explaining, and she should write down. This is how he inspired her to
Inspired and taught her.
verse. And he told her, you don't test care, whatever you understand, you do it. I will correct it, then we will publish it as a book.
His
So when,
experience. What were his experiences with Swami Lakshman Ju? Because Swami Lakshman Ju was in Kashmir. He was serving there as an educationist. Your
Hmm,
father,
hmm.
and tell us something about some anecdotes about him and Swami Lakshman Ju, his journey and Swami Lakshman Ju. He must have spent a substantial period of his life with Swami Lakshman Ju.
He has actually, when I told you it was during 1930s, he started going there. And you know how he was going? He was from Habakadal to Nishat, he used to go by on foot.
My goodness. That's very
And there they used to wait when Swamiji will. At that time, only few people were going to Swamiji, maybe 2-3 people. And in our neighborhood, he had a friend, Dwarkanath Karihulu.
okay.
Requested, or he was very close friend him. He asked him to join him, so they would go together. And it was after some years that the service, bus service, was started, and then they used to go. So Swamiji, because my father's interest was, he was a seeker, pure seeker.
Seeker.
There was no this that this is Vedanta, this is Shaivism, this is other sect. There was no that
Shakti
sense.
Parampara.
Sectism was not in his mind. He wanted to learn. Wherever he found something interesting, he was very impressed by Ramana Maharshi's philosophy. Raman Maharshi and Ramatirtha, and like at Ramakrishna mission, Swami Ranganathanand, he was enchanted by his discourses, and he had a meeting also with him. And then they had at Shivalaya, they had arranged a meeting of Swami Lakshmanju with Swami Ranganathan, and there was a big meeting there happened. I think it was during 80s, 84, 85. So he was not like other Swamiji's other disciples, that they were serving him, and there was a group of 2-3 people who was. And it was at Ishbar itself. There was one Swami Satkakji. He was a grahastha. They were living there. They had a house there. His son is Sri Pranathji, who is now an enlightening person, and he has imbibed all that spirituality from his father. And he is so, whenever he meets me, he is in tears. He remembers my father. After Exodus, I went to Kashmir in 2006. I went to Swamiji. I had made an itinerary, which places are my priority. I have to. The first day I went to Kheer Bhavani, then Hari Parvat, and Ishbar also we went. And there was that Khamaji. She prepared in the kitchen hak and podi for us. She quickly went in the kitchen, and I have those photographs. I can never forget that, how taste. We cannot forget. One colleague was with me, and he says, "Oh, we cannot forget that taste. It was just amrit, divine feeling." So I went to meet this a son of Satkakji, Pranathji, and he was just talking, and because they never left that place. He was sitting there, and he was asking me about people, because many had left, my brother-in-law, my brothers, and he was listening. He was getting so emotional. And his granddaughter, she was sitting there. She was a small girl, and I see, she sitting like this, and she was just in tears. Then I said, "Oh, she is she's getting disturbed by our talk. We should change our." Then my colleague was here. He started drawing something for her and diverted her attention. Such was the dish. And whenever I meet him, he said, because my father taught him. During those days, there was this degree, Prabhakar. My eldest sister, she had done Prabhakar, and he told me that after my sister did it, and the same books were given to Pranathji, and my father
it was very difficult. My mother also started that. Prabhakar was very difficult.
Yeah.
I heard about.
So my father taught him, and he did. He says, whatever education I have got because of my father. So, and we had our family relations. We used to go there. They used to come to us. So it was wonderful.
So I was asking about Swami Lakshmanju and Pt.Janki Nath Kaul'Kamal, and their interaction, their camaraderie, or their disciple master relationship, and something like that.
I cannot give you anecdote, but it was very deep. Whatever my father, first of all, he did that Shiv Sutra Vimarsh. He had studied it with
Sutra
him,
Vimarsh.
and whatever he used to do, because it was not a seeker is someone who wants to know things, but it is equally his duty to pass it on. It is not, he has not to keep it within himself. He must, whatever he can, in whatever way, he should pass it on. That is how it. Swamiji used to say, "Sadak suchuna sadak yusan." Temis guys telegasun janglas mas ben. So in philosophy, temis shu rozun dunya has mas temis shu udar karun pura dunya ho. So it is our duty. We are committed to help others to enlighten them.
Whatever you receive and understand.
In whatever way, because Shaiva philosophy is we all have to be Shiva. We are a part of Shiva. So early or late, we have to be Shiva. So we have to show path to each other. We are the travelers. So we must help other co-travelers to reach that destination. So Shiv Sutra Vimarsh was the first, I think it was after his retirement, he concentrated on that, because before that he had in mind he should do something, but he had no time. So he did it. Then when he prepared it, he would not publish anything without his permission. He had shown it to him when he has written a preface to it, Swami Lakshmanji. So only it was after his, because it was, he had got it from, he studied with him, and he must have whatever, maybe there was some revisions, all that, I don't know about that. Then Swamiji had given in 80s some discourses, 7 discourses in Kashmiri. Okay. My father wrote them into Kashmiri, Pazar Pazraun, and then it was
Pazraun is, yes,
it was published. Then he translated the Kashmiri lectures into English, which was published as Awakening of Supreme Consciousness. It was published after our exodus from Kashmir. How it happened, he had submitted copy, he had made, my brother Anupam ji, he has very closely, he has served my father like anything. He used to write for him, he used to type for him, he used to prepare copies, press copies for his works. So he was always with him.
Kapil ji is also your brother? Kapil Kaul?
Yes, Kapil ji is also my brother.
He was on my show once. He was on my show.
Yes. Yeah. So the copy of this Awakening of Supreme Consciousness was prepared, and it was submitted to Swamiji. Then this exodus happened, and the copy which was with my father, that remained there. So there was nothing, it was lost. My father must have felt for it, but what to do? So, but after some time, they got to know there was some connection with ashram, and they found that it was, I think, because of my brother Anupamji, he found out that a copy is there. Then they somehow got it from there, and the work for its publication started. And with that, before that, my father had translated Bhavani Sahasranam Stuti.
Yes, I have heard that. I have heard about
these are the 1,000 names of Bhavani, which is very popular, like Lalita Sahasranam in South India. It is, we have this Bhavani Sahasranam. And my father, he wanted to explain it, what is the meaning of these 1,000 names. It is not just recitation. There is something more behind it.
Some essence behind.
This was the service for the community, great service, which was recognized, for which he received recognition from the government of India also.
Government of India.
Because he was practicing it, and he has, wherever he wanted to, within his limited resources, he did a tremendous job. He translated
it to English.
No, these are just names, 1,000 names.
No. What I mean to say is that
he gave the explanation. You must see that book. He has.
I'm asking for the viewers. I'm asking, did he write commentary in English? Did he translate
Yes.
these words? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, in Hindi or in English?
He brought out two versions of. One was for recitation. It was in bold letters.
Okay.
I think I can show you. This is Bhavani Sahasranam for recitation part, जिसको
Okay.
हम पाठ करना कहते हैं.
पाठ करते हैं.
Because recitation in itself is energizing. But then to understand, if you understand its meaning, it gives you more of that. So he explained what is the meaning of each name in English. And after that, he also translated into English Panchastavi, which is very popular in Kashmir. But before that, I want to tell you that when it was published here in Delhi, through Ramakrishna Mission, because those days, then my father, he joined Ramakrishna Mission. He used to sit whole day there. They have given him a place as editor, and he used to do his research work, Swadhyay and whatever. So, this was done there, then completed here in Jammu in one room set in that heat. When he met Jagmohan ji in IIC and presented him the book, he was going through the pages, and then he said, where have you done all this work? He said, at Jammu. So, you have a house in Jammu? It is early 90s. He said, no, we have a rented accommodation, one room and one kitchen. He got up. Oh, I am speechless. You have done this work in that single room. And my husband, Utpalji, was with him. He went to the this bakery shop. He said, can you help me to find out whatever he would like? I can just do that. I'm speechless. What can I do for him? So he was so moved by this. He recognized that even Kapilaji, when she saw this one, he says, oh, this is tremendous work.
Plus, he had a great appreciation about your father.
He had imbibed this, and then he explained it in the for us. And same was with Panchastavi.
It is also known as some professor had written a review on this, and he's explaining
MP
it as
he had communication. He had communication with many scholars, but who were very spiritually very advanced.
Awakened.
He had never met them, but there was communication through letters. They would communicate like that. At Chandigarh also, he met many people, many scholars there. So they were all impressed by his work. Such was his
story. And I think his books is this Awakening of the Supreme Consciousness. Probably it's an English edition of that.
It is the translation of Kashmiri lectures by Swamiji. Is Awakening of Supreme Consciousness. It came after my father passed away in 97, and its first edition was brought out in 98. Okay. And then second edition we brought out in 2014. That year was his. I should maybe you ask about his. We celebrated his centenary in 2014.
We'll come to that a bit later.
Yeah.
I would like to say that we're talking about his spiritual work as translation, especially his commentaries and explanations of these wonderful great treatises, spiritual treatises. About poetry, Shraddha Posh and Vikshipta Veena, I have heard about these two collections. There are other collections as well?
No, only these two.
And but they have come after a pretty long time. Shraddha Posh has come when he was very young.
Shraddha Posh has come early. Then in the second edition, first edition was a small book. Second edition is big, in which more poems leelas have been included, and this is we have brought it in Hindi. It is written by hand by my brother, legible hand. You see how beautifully it is written. Wonderful. And the same has been printed. But in this edition, there are some more editions. He has these 1,000 names he has translated into Kashmiri also. That is here in this. For recitation, you can recite
these names. You can just recite a bit. A few you can recite for our viewers.
ओम नमो भवानी ईश्वरन वन महाविद्याये जगत माताये महालक्ष्मी शिव प्रियाये विष्णु मायाये शुभि शांताये महामाये च जय जयकार सिद्धाये सिद्ध सरस्वतीये क्षमाये कांताये च प्रभाये ज्योत्स्ना पार्वती सर्व मंगलाये महामाये च जय जयकार. So this is a long poem. Then he has also written very important poem. I don't know if it is here. Sannyas kya gav? What is sannyas? Sannyas is not you go away, you leave this world. Sannyas is what? That is not renunciation. Is while living in this world, you should
living
not be attached to it. That is sannyas. So he has explained in different ways. So I am not finding it here.
I'm just speaking a few poems which has been translated by Professor A.N. Dar or some professor. He has translated it into English. This is about probably this Shadaposh. One is that mind cleansed, light will shine forth, dispelling all darkness with true faith, aided by self-introspection. Utter the mantra, Shiv Shankar Shambhu. There's a lot of difference. Yeah, there's a lot of difference in tone and tenor. Tone and tenor of this, the earlier collection and the second collection. Second collection is more of his own understanding. First one is more devotional. In second collection, few lines I'll speak. Vikshipt Veena probably. I am the melancholy note. I am the melancholy note. He starts with the melancholy. From a Veena with broken strings. I am the wailing song that has burst forth from the anguished heart of a helpless woman. So that is something which is completely different. It is more of a craving, more of a restlessness to reach that, attain that stage. So there's a difference.
Yeah. Because Vikshipt Veena, there's most of the poems are very old, but in that itself, then he writes very importantly. I will.
You have Vikshipt Veena with you. Kindly recite some.
I have. मस्ती में झूमता हूँ, हस्ती को देख अपनी मस्ती में झूमता हूँ, प्यारे को देख प्यारे मैं मस्त हो रहा हूँ. काफूर है ये दुनिया भरपूर मैं हूँ बाकी, भरपूर मैं ये पीकर मस्ती में झूमता हूँ. लाया रिझा के मैंने प्यारे को प्यार करके, अब प्यार देख उसका मस्ती में झूमता हूँ. सब बाग ढूंढ छोड़े चमनों की देख खुशबू, खुशबू में उसकी मिलकर मस्ती में झूमता हूँ. ना जान की रहा अब नहीं रूप कुछ है मेरा, मस्ती में मस्त होकर मस्ती में झूमता हूँ. So this is awakening.
Wonderful.
I also want to say that his when he joined services, he was not fully he has not received full education, formal education after matriculation or some classes, but he wanted to improve. He did BT, which is known as B.Ed nowadays.
B.Ed, yeah.
In that training, he got association with one lady. She and her name was Jamunaji. And we came to know later that she is not our real Bua. She said they came into a relationship as brother and sister. But she passed away. She used to we would wait for her Rakhi. She used to prepare it with her hands in different designs. And we used to wait for it, what design she will send now this year. So then she passed away early. It was such a shock. And he has written a poem on that also, Raksha Bandhan, for her sister. रक्षा बंधन के दो तार बनाते मुझको हैं लाचार, सीमित करते हैं असीम को, मोहित करते निर्मोही को, योजित करते विद्रोही को, जंकृत वीणा के दो तार बनाते सबको हैं लाचार. बहना बांधी राखी तूने, कर को आगे दारा मैंने, जोड़ा नाता तूने मैंने, कर में कमल लिए है हार, बनाते तुमको भी लाचार. कर में कमल, कमल is symbolic, his pen name is also Kamal. कर में कमल लिए है हार, बनाते तुझको भी लाचार, मानव मन तो धीर रहे कुछ, आशाएं गंभीर रहे कुछ, कल्पना लतिका शाखाएं उग आएंगे फिर साकार, बनाते मुझको भी लाचार. रक्षाबंधन. हाँ.
बहुत प्यारा,
So
बहुत प्यारा.
this is
He actually, I think his communication is like Leo Tolstoy used to say, it's very difficult to write simple. And I have also heard from Bettina Sharda or somebody else, Kapila, probably Professor Kapila, that he had been able to translate the most difficult scriptures into
yes,
most simpler and lucid form to make it
yes,
understand for the common man. That is
yes.
something very, very great,
Very
something
important. Very important.
unparalleled and very important.
Yes.
It's very easy to write difficult,
Hmm.
but it's very difficult to
So
write
what
easy.
he has translated, that is also very important. This Panchastavi. He was
Panchasti you're
also
talking about.
very much impressed by Jialal ji. What is his name? Jialal Saraf, who has
Yes.
translated Panchastavi into Kashmiri, which we recite all. Aisharan Zapadan Kam and Vyakul Taimans Matarashtamsi.
Mata Rishta. Oh,
So
that is
it
a very
touches your inner strings when you recite it. But I have to say that this Panchastavi has been a lifelong sadhana of my father. I have heard him reciting this with tears all through my life, and it was after it was ripened, then he translated it into English, maybe. So
He has
that
also
is
been in
very,
contact
very
with
important.
Pandit Satram. Pandit Satram.
Satram was the, I told you about
Acha,
Pandit
you told
Satram.
me
He was
about that.
in Peshawar, with whom he studied Vedanta. Vedanta,
Okay,
yes.
okay. He is
Very,
writing a
they
book,
were very.
uh,
Then there was
Vidya
one
Ramya Panchast. There was some book.
Panchastavi. I told you about Panchastavi.
Yeah, Panchastvi. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
So
now, I mean, let's go back to his times he spent with these. Let's talk about his contemporaries, contemporary seekers, with Lakshmanju or with Swami Nilkant. Who are his contemporary, very prominent contemporary seekers, or his associates, who were part of his this journey or this quest?
actually, he had a group of people. Sometimes they would change. There would some people
Actually,
would change also. And I have sent you pictures. They would sit in the winter in the room and have discourse and study some scripture. And in between, my mother used to
okay, okay.
serve them
Okay,
tea.
then we'll do one thing. We'll do a photo tour first, and then we'll move ahead. We'll see at the closing. Yeah.
Yes,
So
if
that
you,
will
I
be. I
can.
think that will really get people more involved into. Yes, this is
Yeah,
about.
this is when we celebrated his centenary in
Okay,
2000, on 14th June 2014.
this is Bhajanji
And
also there. Bhajan
at
Soto.
that time we did I was very interested that his some poems from his Shraddha Posh should be got composed by Bhajanji, and we
Okay,
were fortunate that he accepted, and nine poems, nine leelas he composed, and we released that CD on that day. And we also, those who sang for this CD, they gave some live performance also on that. It was a blissful day. Mr. Ka was there, Professor Chamalal Sapruji was there, and Bhajanji was there. And we also released this Awakening of Supreme Consciousness,
oh,
the second edition of that book.
on this occasion.
And
Okay,
then I got a film also made by for a small documentary about my father, which was
okay,
done by Anil Nakhasi, very
okay.
beautifully done. So that was also released, was shown to people.
On the
It was,
centenary.
yes, yes. So
This is
many
the
people
same
came. It
photograph.
was a hot June day, but because of love for him, they came. We
People
don't know,
gathered and
many
came.
people were unknown, but they, when they heard this is happening, so they came there.
And this is from the same
This is
occasion.
audience, yes,
Okay.
in the centenary. This is the same day at the The person's on the left side, it is a younger son of Satramji and his wife.
Oh, I see. That's so
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yes, and others are our family members. This
This
is
is again.
the release of Awakening of Supreme Consciousness,
This is
and Professor Makhanlal Kuklu is raising it.
okay.
This sketch is made by my brother Kapilji when my
Kapil,
father
yes.
passed away. He made this sketch at that time. This is the same, and this is my nephew Hemant, my eldest brother's son, Samvit Sarup's son, felicitating Professor Sapru, Chamalal Sapruji. He has been, this family has been very close. This is a this from
Poster.
that poster from that function. This is the
This
cover
is
of Pazar Pazraun,
Pazar
Awakening to the Truth.
Awakening of Supreme Consciousness, Truth.
Awakening to the Truth. Yes. This is
Vikshiptavina.
Vikshiptavina. Yeah. I am thinking of bringing a new edition of this Vikshiptavina, because Gayatri, he has given the, this was under Nilakantha Saraswati ji. He has given this Hindi Bhash of Gayatri Mantra.
Gayatri Mantra.
This was done for this distribution. Yes. Mulya is written Keval Shraddha. Price is Keval Shraddha. It's written there. This is Vedanta Dimdima. This is a Vedantic text, so which he had studied, and he translated it into English. This is the second edition or third edition of that Mukundamala, which was first edition was prepared by my sister.
Okay, she was talking about.
Yeah, then other stotras were also hymns were included in this too, because that was the small one, so it was brought out. And this is the cover of the second edition of Awakening of Supreme Consciousness. And the picture is how Swami Lakshmanji used to take classes in the open. It is like you have Shantiniketan.
Shantiniketan, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore.
But I think in Kashmir it is more than Shantiniketan under the chinar tree.
Yeah, that's true. But Gurudev, yeah.
Gurudev,
there are two different situations.
Yeah.
Gurudev is something different.
Mukundamala again. Mukundamala. This is the picture of this Panchasavi, and this sketch is, you know, my father's grandfather. His name was Jugal Koul. He was also very spiritually very enlightened, and he was a sculptor and artist. Sculptor. Oh, and we had a shivling, a small shivling in our Thokurkot. It was made by him on the Pranali, which we used to worship. And I think it has been done by him, or it is written by Om. This made by writing Om. This was the tradition. We find it in other families also, but this was in our family.
This is the tradition of the Orient, and I have seen it in many places in South as well.
Yes.
These things have there. It is in the Orient. I mean, it's part of the Oriental tradition of sculpturing. But this is all in your genes, your family. Your grandfather was a sculptor, and your father. Shiv Sutra Vimarsh you were talking about.
This was the first book which was published by my father. This is the second. First was published by Motilal Banarsi Das. It is, then they brought out second edition of this.
Shiv Sutra.
It is in Hindi. This is in Hindi. This is Shraddha Posh. This is also the second edition of Shraddha Posh. And my brother, he wrote all these poems in his legible hand, and then the same was got printed.
Flower of Faith.
And we, the celebration, we gave the title Shraddha Posh of his centenary celebration.
So you kept the title
of that celebration, Shraddha Posh. Yes.
Shraddha Posh is beautiful.
This is Shir Bawar. Actually, Utpalji's grandfather, Master Samsar Chand Kaul, he had written this into English Then my father, he translated it in 90s, I think, in Delhi itself, into Hindi for the larger
Readership.
readership. Yes.
Your father was, I want to ask one thing. Your father was equally had a wonderful command in all the languages, like from English to
Yes, yes, yes.
Hindi to Kashmiri
English,
to
Hindi,
Sanskrit.
yeah,
He was excellent in all the languages. Huh? That's
yes,
something very
fluent.
unique.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Bhavani Nama Sastra. Stuti.
And you will be, he has written a Sanskrit poem in which he is paying obeisance to the guru or to that one truth, and in which he has, that is what I say, and he lived this study. This is Bhavani. First we will finish this.
Yeah,
This is Bhavani Sahasranam. This was the
yeah.
first edition. It has, after that it has gone, two reprints of it have again come.
This
Yeah.
Professor Ekeda says that this is the magnum opus. He calls it a magnum opus. How does he call it magnum opus? What do you find it? Well, he considers it to be one of the topmost writings,
Because
translations.
we can do a lot of research, further research on it. This is for the first time it has been translated, or these names have been explained into English or in whatever. Otherwise, we used to just recite it. There was no meaning. We didn't get
We never
any
understood the
meaning.
meaning here.
But there are, actually, we have passed in a situation where we got disconnected with all that. There are other works also like this. What is that known? Devi Vilas, Sahib Koul. He has done a lot of work. He has written on it. We now get those manuscripts, are because there is lot of scope for further research on it, and to get reconnected with this tradition. This in for that, this is very important. What work he has done. So that way, it is very,
That's why he calls it magnum opus.
yes. This is Indrakshi Stotram. In this also, this was before doing Bhavani Sa. Indrakshi, we have 4 names of Indrakshi. Indrakshi Namsa Devi, we recite
Indra ki namsa
names
di,
of
yeah.
Devi. So Indra se Akshi, Indra ki jo aankh hai. So he has explained those names in this 64 names of Indrakshi.
It's also
Into
very
English.
valuable.
Into English.
Valuable, yeah. Valuable. I mean,
This has also come from Ramakrishna Mission. So it is the contribution of my father and the contribution of Ramakrishna Mission towards the Kashmir traditions.
Your father has written a couplet below. It's in Sanskrit.
Yeah,
I don't
this
know.
was this is Dayard Drishtya Bhavata Vadami, Kripard Drishtya Bhavata Smrami, Apang Drishtya Bhavata Bhajami, Tathaiva Shambhum Sharanam Vrajami. That daya ki, with the kindness,
Compassion.
with the compassion, I speak about you. With compassion, I speak about you. Kripa, kripa, with your blessings. I with the shower of your blessings, I remember you. I think about you. Apang drishtya, with the bhavta, with Krishtya, with the unbound joy, I pray you. Tathaiva Shambho Sharanam. By that,
Vajrami.
that way I bow towards Shiva.
And it is his own handwriting. It's so
It
legible,
is
so
his
wonderful.
own handwriting,
Beautiful.
and he used to
Promises.
cover pictures, these greeting cards or whatever. He used to reuse them. He had a creative mind. And his hand was so beautiful, and that is how he used to. I say he was living. He was living this tradition, Shaiva tradition. He was living. This is my
Organic.
father and mother. in Chandigarh. Picture was taken in Chandigarh.
They lived in Chandigarh after the migration?
My eldest brother was living in Chandigarh, and they used to go in winter months. They used to go there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kapilji is not your eldest brother? Kapilji is your eldest brother, or Anupamji, you said just...
No. They are all elder to me, but among the three, Kapilji is the youngest.
Okay.
And my father, he had, this was in Jammu sometime.
Yeah, it appears
I
to be
had
in
gone
Jammu,
there. Yeah. And he had created the small library there.
Yeah, I can see.
His pain was that he had a very precious library. He had built a very precious library in Kashmir. That was the only loss he was feeling all through. Then slowly he got some books. He was just bringing, but here there was a limitation of space, where to keep the books. But whatever he wanted for immediate use, he collected that.
He had any regret about this migration? What happened overnight? Did he feel bitter about it?
Regrets were always there. Yes, regrets were always there.
He was bitter about it. Did it affect his mind space?
It affected everyone, but as I say, he was so positive thinking person that he said that we have to face it and we have to find out of it. We should not deviate what we are about. Basically what we have to do. This is during his at Rupa Devi Sharda Pit. There's that research institution was for some, I think for 2 years he was working there, and there he worked on the project translating Amarnath Mahatmya. So I think in that connection he had visited this Baramulla. It is at Baramulla, this Shivlinga. So this picture was taken there. Yes. He wanted to I don't know if we want, but at Jammu we were confined to the same place. So once I think it was 94, 95, we went from Delhi to Jammu, and then my sister was living in Jyotipuram, Rias. Her husband was posted there. We went there. My parents were also there, so we decided we will take a pilgrimage to Vaishno Devi. This is taken at Vaishno Devi. Picture. This is just a portrait picture during his last. This is in Kashmir. So when his discourse, and on the right side is his name is Udainathji Tikku, and on the left side is Damkakji. His name was Damkakji. Damkak. I don't know what was his full name, but he was known as Damkak. And on the right side of my father is sitting. His name was Durganathji Tikku. He was living in Shala Kadal, and he had worked with Sir Alstein as his assistant, stenographer or something like that.
Okay.
In Mohanmarg.
Here he is in a meditative posture.
Yeah, this was at my sister's place, and we saw this picture when he had already passed away. These are the final. This is with his great grandson picture. He was very happy. He says, "Oh, I am so lucky to have a great grandson."
Here he looks like Aaron Cow, the super cop. Yeah. Karan Singh ji.
This was some function at Shivalaya Ashram, and where this Karan Singh ji was there, and he is reciting or delivering some speech there. This was on the day of receiving this President's Award. at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Me and
You
my
all had
husband,
gone there.
my mother, we are there.
All the
We
family had gone
accompanied.
there. It must have been a great event.
Yeah, my son was too young. He said, "Why I can't go there because children were not allowed." He was very upset.
Allowed in here. Shankardayal Sharma was the president that
Yes,
time.
it was his
27.
final term. Yes, soon after he completed his term. This is one friend who lived in neighborhood. I have to tell you about this. He used to come to us. He actually came from a village, I
Okay.
think somewhere near Sharda. He used to tell us stories about Sharda. And uh, I have heard that when they came during Kabali raid, they left their village and they used to live in the lower portion, which we call as wood portion of our house. And I have heard it from my father that they lived there as Wangajwar. Wangajwar was the term for the person who was given space without charging anything till they were allowed to stay at your place without charging anything until they could live as long as when they found a proper place for
Suitable
themselves.
place.
So this was the tradition.
वांगज वुर क्या बोलते हो वांगज
Wangajwar.
वांगज वुर
Wangajwar. This term was known as Wangaj. This is the picture from the Yajñopaveta of my brothers. I was not born then. I think it was in
but
55.
all the ladies are in the Ferren and
My mother is sitting below, and then our aunties, grandmothers, and up there are aunties and grandmothers. My three brothers and my father is with them in the middle row.
oh I see.
Kapilji is on the, my eldest brother is holding my younger brother, that Kapilji.
Okay.
Anpumji is on the left, on his right.
This is the Sami
This was
Lakshmi.
taken by my brother in '86 at Ishubar.
Kapil ji, it is taken by Kapil Kaul.
Yeah, this is,
But it's a beautiful. It is a
yes,
Guru
this is a
Shishya,
beautiful picture. Yeah.
wonderful. And Swamiji is in very. They are in a very composure, very tete.
Yes,
What do you call it?
yes. Beautiful. In
Very
the
intimate.
background is chinar tree.
Scenery is there. And
This
this is
is again
Swamiji
from that. My father is sitting just before him in the middle.
in the middle. Again, he's standing here, and
Adding, yes.
earlier he was sitting.
Hmm.
This is a
This
great
is,
photo.
yeah,
Picture.
this is also
Family
my,
picture.
this is my grandmother, mother, and behind my sister on the left, right is my sister-in-law, eldest sister, no, my sister in the middle, and my nieces, little two girls. Kapilji is also sitting there, but his only chin is visible.
Okay. Sorry, this is your that photo.
I think you have included this picture. This has come from your side.
No, I wanted some picture, so I got this. So I picked it at random.
Yeah,
There's no, I mean, there's a Brechtian rule. You have to break the monotony. So I
yeah.
thought, why not to break the monotony? Yeah.
So
This
this is
other
my father at home.
Kashmiri
And
topi.
this was his, this particular place that was his sitting place in. And whenever any person whom he revered most, he would get up and give this place
Oh,
for him.
a man with many virtues and many values.
Yes,
This
this
is
is,
Shankardayal Sharma giving
yeah.
honoring him on this day. So that is all from this tour. So have we left some? I mean, broadly we have almost touched the life, but if there is something we have not taken up, you kindly just you can add on.
What to add on?
Any anecdote you want to know? Any? I mean, what? How would you describe your father in one line? One line. very honest
a true
and mother.
sadhaka, a true sadhaka, a living sadhaka, practical
living
sadhaka, who lived
like
what he imbibed, what he taught, or what he studied. He also tried to live that and help others to live. He, when from our childhood, he would write. We recite, even now. We, all my brothers, and we remember some shloka. He loved Upanishads. He used to write those in papers, in stencil, make copies and distribute. And at some time, because in the evenings we used to sit, and then he used to just recite, and then asked us to recite Tamev Tamishwaranam Paramam Mahesham Tam Devatanam Paramam Chadaivatam Patim Patinam Paramam Parastat Vidama Devam Bhuvnesham. So these were 10-15 shlokas. So at random we can recite them. So it is given by them, by my father. So we all, our Bhagavad Gita, he said you should try to recite these shlokas, and this is,
your mother must have played a very significant role in a Karam Yogi
yes,
like
of
him.
course. Yes, of course. She was quietly helping him, because he was all the day he was out, and my mother, she was very meticulous. Very.
Okay.
My father also, he was disciplined. He used to say, "Ki you should, in the dark, you should find the things where the things are placed. So you should not have to struggle where the thing to get your things." Same was with my mother. She was very meticulous. That helped them each other to maintain that discipline. So we have also tried to. I cannot say we have imbibed all, but what little is in us, it is imbibed from our parents, my mother. And she was known for her meticulous demeanor. Nicely, she used to keep her all children nicely dressed, and whatever limited resources.
Immaculate and clean, neat and
But
clean and well
yes,
dressed and well
yes,
cultured.
yeah.
Uh, you
My
probably
father, he used to enjoy life. Somebody had commented when he passed away that I thought, when I met him, I thought he will be some Panditji type, but I saw him in pant and sweatshirt. But he enjoyed life, and like anything, he used to buy things. Sometimes he used to buy get the bundle also, because I told you, his all business people, they were his students. So
students.
sometimes he used to get bundle of saris, you select from it, and then rest I will return. So he
That's
enjoyed life.
wonderful.
And he used to fond of khadi bandar. He used to get jackets for himself, bandan gala coats for him, or
Banko.
for us also. That's so.
That's so wonderful.
That's,
In his habit, he started his day very early. Probably he must have been starting as all the people in those
yeah,
generation
that
used to.
was very. He used to get tired. My mother used to get then wash his feet in with warm water, and we
And
used
he
to
had
do that. He used to tell us that you should go and wash it. And when we were young, we used to. He was just giving inspiration to initiate things, just by suggesting things. When during winter, when in the we used to shift in the lower portion, upper portion, kearney, which we call it, for used to be
Ernie.
like a big hall. So he used to get magazines from his school library, Dharam Yug, Illustrated
Dharam.
Weekly, and sometimes old calendars. He used to. We had a lot of Ravi Verma calendars in
Ravi
our house.
Verma, great
Yes.
painter.
So he used to
So he
initiate
had the
that.
taste, a class of taste. He had
Yes,
some.
he said,
Yeah.
he used to say, yeah, you can just place it like an exhibition, because that space is open. We are not using it, Kearney. So sometimes we used to have that exhibition there of these pictures. So that
Innovative,
kind of, yeah, innovative. He
innovative
was.
person
And
who had
I was very young at that time, all children, because we had 4 houses, cousins, Koul family. 4 houses were interconnected. There was connection inside also when there was some marriage or some function or something, some trouble in
we used
the
to get together.
city. So we could pass from inside. Openings were there. So, so I was very young. I vaguely remember that he had, or in DAV school, there used to be an annual function in
Yes.
which there were some activities going on. So we used to prepare for. He said that we can do the same thing in home also during. I think it was during summer break. So they were my brothers and sisters. They had prepared a space like tub, which we call it was a big tub, a long tub. So there they dyed some like scouts.
Hanging
They
balloons.
had some things like uniform, and they had prepared some. I don't remember the details, but I know some activity was going on. So engaging children in different activities. So that is wonderful.
And he was not, he was never like a stern father. He used to, but he always used to give you suggestions to improve.
Yes,
Not like
yes.
that. And he had a robust constitution, health all his life.
Uh,
I
Sorry.
mean, health was robust, good. He kept a good
Not
health.
robust, but it was he was always slim and trim and very good. This personality, tall he was. Yeah.
Okay, that's so wonderful.
And I remember because your show is known as Sheetal Nath. I want to say about Sheetal Nath. I have not been many times to Sheetal Nath, but I remember during '67 when
Agitation.
that agitation happened. Sheetal Nath was the
It
very
was the
important place
epicenter.
at that
Epicenter.
time.
Yeah.
And my father, he was those days he was suffering with typhoid. He was on bed, and he must have got very tense. His health was, and then there was that the police used to come to houses and take all
People
these
arrest people. Yeah.
arrest people. So then at that time he has written a poem, Shankar Shomra Moh Bejawab.
Very wonderful.
So
The
it
show
is a
is
long
the
Shankar
Sheetalnath
Shomra Moh. It is a turbulence. It was like a turbulence. He has
turbulence. Yeah.
explained this as turbulence, and he says "Rahit," as if in the Wooler Lake, the
Yeah.
boat is stuck in the storm. So the boatman is asking Rahati Gandhi Poochit Pother. Something like that. Gandhi Poochit Pother. But you take some woe, and with that this will get.
I mean, you tie some knot somewhere, and
Yes,
through
yes,
that you can
yes.
just
So
save this
it is
boat
a
from
very
turbulence.
touching point and poem, and he used to in the bed he would recite, and Anupamji then wrote it.
Oh, that's so wonderful. That's so
And he
wonderful.
used to when he had I have seen him growing in spirituality. There was a later on there was a glow in his face, in his eyes, so you could feel it. So that is what I want to say. But I
That
cannot.
is
It is
it's
it is
dynamic.
just an experience. You can experience. You cannot explain it in words.
You cannot read it. It's not literature.
Yes,
It's about
it's
experience.
only you can feel it.
You
Yes.
can feel it. People grow. I mean, it's a dynamics. It's an eternal dynamics. There is a change. Personality changes in the
Yes.
spiritual when you are in the
There
spiritual
was
level.
some aura in him. Yes,
Yeah.
I know that.
That's so
So
wonderful.
the day when he passed away, I got the message that he is in hospital. I was in. How can I face it? How can But during the night, I felt some power came in me. That I said, no, this is he's not going away. It is just the physical change. So he is always with me. So I always feel him with me.
That's so.
That feeling is
Uh,
there.
I think we have almost covered all this, especially about his literature and spiritual journey. Although I was very more curious to know about his days spent with Lakshmanju and Swami Nilkanji, the recorded anecdotes by him or anecdotes conveyed
No, he would
by
not
him.
say anything about it.
He didn't
No
tell.
anecdotes. I have
It
no
was more. It
anecdotes,
was
but
more of a.
only whatever he has published, it is shown first to Swamiji.
Just conveyed his
Conveyed. He has
experience.
conveyed.
His
Yes.
experience. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so wonderful. So now, I mean, this program is coming to the conclusion. We are ending this program. This can continue because we are talking about a great personality of 20th century, Pt.Janki Nath Kaul'Kamal, and his proud daughter is here, who herself is a great scholar. But now, because at the end it's almost 8:45. It has been almost nearing 2 hours. We have been conversating. So finally, let's conclude it now. Before we conclude it, I would like you to recite any of his poems, any of Hindi, in English, and let's conclude on that beautiful note and that beautiful poem.
I will recite this, what I said, what he first recited before Swami Lakshmanji. Bashashat ki Lahar. Bashashat ki Lahar is the joy,
Okay.
the flow of joy. I will sing it in his tune, how he used to sing it.
Please, that would be very nice.
मैं क्या ये देखता हूँ, मेरा ही नूर मैं हूँ. मैं क्या ये देखता हूँ, मेरा ही नूर मैं हूँ. आँखें जिधर को देखें, बस एक मैं हूँ. यूं तो अनेक शक्लें आँखों में जम रही थी. यूं तो अनेक शक्लें आँखों में जम रही थी. अब तो वो सारी लेकिन कुछ भी नहीं है मैं हूँ. अब तो वो सारी लेकिन कुछ भी नहीं है मैं हूँ. वाह वाह जब तमाशा, ये खेल है गजब का. वाह वाह जब तमाशा, ये खेल है गजब का. जिसमें कि जाम भरकर मुझको पिलाता मैं हूँ. जिसमें कि जाम भरकर मुझको पिलाता मैं हूँ. खाता खिलाता मैं हूँ, पीता पिलाता मैं हूँ. खाता खिलाता मैं हूँ, पीता पिलाता मैं हूँ. ये खान पान लेकिन मेरा नहीं है मैं हूँ. ये खान पान लेकिन मेरा नहीं है मैं हूँ. बाजे सुरीले गाने, तंबूर के तराने. बाजे सुरीले गाने, तंबूर के तराने. वहदत में अपनी हर सू सुनता सुनाता मैं हूँ. वहदत में अपनी हर सू सुनता सुनाता मैं हूँ. गर यहाँ हूँ यो यहाँ हूँ, गर वहाँ हूँ तो वहाँ हूँ. गर यहाँ हूँ तो यहाँ हूँ, गर वहाँ हूँ तो वहाँ हूँ. आहा 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 आहा, बस मैं ही मैं हूँ. आहा 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 आहा, बस मैं ही मैं हूँ. बस मैं ही मैं हूँ.
I must clap now. Thank you, ma'am. That was so wonderful, so beautiful poem. It's all about spiritual, and so simply he has completely, created this entire thing. That experience, spiritual experience, and it is delightful. His poetry flows with so much of, that joy and experience of spirituality, of esotericism, of the higher.
It makes you to experience that joy. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, with that, finally, we have to conclude this session. Thank you very much. You came, ma'am, and it was a great delight. And we had we covered many aspects, indelible as parts of his journey, his personal accounts and encounters with you as a family person, as a daughter, and his personality, his correlationship with the saints, his growing up years, and within the constraints and format of this program. Thank you very much that you came.
Thank you.
It's really a great honor once again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Good wishes and best of luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
So that was Dr. Advaitavadini Kaul, the proud daughter of Pt.Janki Nath Kaul'Kamal. And we had a very special, we talked about all the features of this great personality. And it was a very candid conversation. I hope you must have all enjoyed it. It will be available on the archives in the library, on our YouTube channel as well. So you can just approach it and visit and know about this great man of 20th century, the great spiritual seeker and a scholar, and his great contributions. Thank you very much. Good night. Jai Hind.